morning. Thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Nelson Zulu. How are you doing this morning after that intriguing, emotional game between Zambia and Congo DRC as of last night, while we shared spoils with our neighbors just nearby? And I saw a lot of social media postings where a lot also were reacting to how the game was faring. But you too, hopefully you're having a positive day as it is, fully knowing that we shared spoils, which is not a bad thing to do. And I'll be with you up to the time of 9, and we'll get into looking all to various segments that need to be looked at this morning. But right before we even dive into other things that we need to look at this morning, let's get direct into our health corner and see what the doctors do have for us this morning.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to today's segment of the Health Corner on the Breakfast Show on Camnet TV. I am Dr. Nakuya Namfaya. This week we have been discussing about cholera, and today we are going to discuss how cholera is treated. Yesterday we talked about some of the signs and symptoms of cholera and how you can know that you have cholera. So we say that cholera can have no symptoms at all, and in some cases can have very severe symptoms. So some of the symptoms would include diarrhea, and if in severe cases the diarrhea would be so severe that it can cause dehydration. So today we are going to discuss how cholera is treated. It's important to know that cholera is curable and it is a treatable disease. So because cholera can cause severe dehydration, patients who have cholera will need to be rehydrated. In some mild cases, people who have cholera will only need to be rehydrated with ORS, which is oral rehydration solution, and most of the times they will recover after being given the solution. But in severe cases, people will need to get medical attention and be given fluids at the hospital, and these fluids will help to rehydrate them and to prevent them from having shock and having organ damage. So it's important to also know that while you are going to seek medical attention, you can start giving the patient some oral rehydration solution at home to prevent them from being so dehydrated, even as you are transporting them to the hospital. So for children who are still breastfeeding, it's important that you continue to breastfeed the children and also rehydrate them with some oral rehydration solution. So the other thing that at the hospital that they usually do for patients with cholera is that they treat them with antibiotics. Antibiotics help to treat the infection and also to prevent or to reduce the shedding of the bacteria through the feces, to reduce the contamination of other foods and for other people to not to get the disease from those that have been infected. So it's important that you go to the hospital to get proper treatment and to get proper attention from your medical doctors. So this has been the segment for today, and today we have learned that cholera is treatable and that cholera can be treated with fluids, and these are oral rehydration solution and IV fluids at the hospital. So be sure to take your children and your loved ones that are ill or sick to the hospital once you discover that they have cholera. So continue to watch Camnet TV and continue to tune into the breakfast show in the upcoming days, as we will be talking further about cholera and how you can prevent yourself from getting cholera. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nakubiana, for just trying to fuse us in the treatment of cholera, because we've seen that cases of cholera continue to pile up, and we've also seen cases being recorded in huge numbers. Just like it was yesterday, I think we recorded about 463 cases, which is also still a worrying number, meaning that you and I still have some sort of activity that we need to do and ensure that we prevent ourselves from contracting the disease. And more so, what is so worrying is that from the numbers that were recorded as of yesterday, also numbers of deaths, we saw like we had 15 cases of deaths being recorded, 11 of which were from homes, and then 4 were from the facility, meaning that we as a people also need to take that responsibility of ensuring that we do the right thing. And without much further ado, let's get into the money market this morning and look at how the kwacha is faring against the major convertibles. There you have it on your screens. The US dollar is buying at 26 kwacha 0.03 ngwe and selling at 26.54 ngwe. The euro is buying at 28 kwacha 0.26 ngwe and selling at 28 kwacha 0.81 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha 0.36 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 0.39 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 32 kwacha 0.92 ngwe and selling at 33 kwacha 0.57 ngwe. That is according to the update at 7:20. And remember that these notes, they vary from bank to bank. So you might find that you walk into this bank and then there's some slight change, but nevertheless that is where we are at the moment. And I think much concern has been placed on the US dollar, as you can see on the screen, that it keeps on surging, meaning that our local currency is under pressure and there's need for us to continue doing things that are very productive in terms of improving our economy. There you have it. I think there are quite a lot of things that you and I need to also do. I'll still emphasize on that point, given the assurance from government that 2024 is a year of things getting to change. 2024 is a year of ensuring that those assurances that have been laid on the table are actually actualized. But if you and I are not really playing a part and in trying to be part and parcel of those assurances being implemented, it becomes a challenge. So meaning that this is a challenge to you and I to ensure that we actually bring in the best within ourselves and contribute to the country. Right about now, we open our phone lines. You can fuse us in with the perspective in terms of the stories that are just going to be zooming in, as well as some of the stories that might be happening in your area. This is a good platform for you to also share your insight in terms of, yesterday it was Zambia's game between DRC, and I've just seen one of the comments saying if Zambia plays like that against Morocco, it's going to be difficult for me to support Zambia on that very day. But hey, we need to be very patriotic, and let's get into the zooming headline segment, which is a segment where we get to look at stories that made headlines in our previous bulletin. And one of the stories that we'll get to look at this morning is a story where Vice President Mutale Nalumango has described the late Lieutenant General Ronnie Shikapwasha as a man who was dedicated to public service. Speaking when she visited the funeral house, Mrs. Nalumango shared her admiration for Mr. Shikapwasha's commitment as a diligent public servant, underscoring their positive collaboration during his tenure as Minister of Home Affairs. Meanwhile, a family representative, Alan Nalupenga, described the loss as the departure of a hero within the family. We get to look at that story and we'll be back on the other side.
News of the unfortunate shooting of one of Zambia's finest fighter jet pilots has left community and the country at large, Lieutenant General Shikapwasha was born December 25, 1947 in the central province of Zambia. He served as an Air Force commander under the late President Frederick Chiluba. He also served as Home Affairs Minister from 2003 to 2005 and later served as Minister of Information and Broadcasting Services until 2011. He was overseer of the Jesus is Life Church. Lieutenant Shikapwasha was Sunday rushed to Mainasoko General Hospital after the shooting incident and later pronounced dead Monday evening, January 15, 2024. When is the 17th, government officials, family members, church members, and neighbors came to remember the life of Ronnie Shikapwasha, who tragically lost his life in his own home. The circumstances surrounding the shooting remain unclear, leaving the community searching for answers. Among those who visited the funeral house, Vice President Mutalena Lumango says she will remember the late Ronnie Shikapwasha as a man committed to service.
He was extremely committed to what he did, particularly when we worked together in Cabinet. He was vibrant, he contributed, he did the best that he could do as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Home Affairs. Those are the portfolios that come to mind now. We worked well together. For me, we worked well together. He was my brother. Public life is simply a commitment, because public life calls for service to the people. And whatever you do, remember you are serving people. Don't save self. So for him, as far as I knew, he was committed to do that.
Meanwhile, family member Alan Malupenga says the family has lost its hero.
They've lost the hero in the family. Maybe patient. They must be trusted. Being a politician not supposed to be somebody who just looks after his family. You've grown up your nets, but everyone is your relatives. That's why even today, Shikapwasha has been remembered and being mourned by so many, especially in Camnet constituency.
According to a police statement issued January 15, 2024, the police are actively investigating a shooting incident involving Lieutenant General Ronnie Shikapwasha, which occurred on January 14, 2024, between 17 hours and 18 hours at his residence in Ibex Hill. As the sun sets, a candlelight vigil is underway, casting a somber light on the impact of this tragedy. Cherish Sivote, reporting for Camnet News, Lusaka. President
right there, Mutalena Lumango, actually sharing her condolences to the family of the late retired Lieutenant General Ronnie Shikapwasha, was actually allegedly killed rather on Sunday last week, and we continue to follow up that story because it is a story of interest, because a lot of people or a lot of stakeholders are still questioning in the circumstances of how the former Lieutenant General, as well as who once served as a ZAF commander, also would die in such a circumstance. What indeed led to his demise? These are questions that everyone is waiting to hear from, especially from the authorities such as the police. But this going on, let's get to also look at a story from some Lusaka residents who have expressed mixed feelings about the ongoing cholera vaccination exercise. One of the residents, Ronald Mwale, tells Camnet News that he can only be vaccinated once the effectiveness of the cholera vaccine is explained in detail. We get to look at that story, and we'll be back on the other side as we continue with the Thursday edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Cholera, an acute diarrheal infection caused by the intake of contaminated food or water and mostly associated with stigma in Zambia, has claimed more than 300 lives since breaking out last year in October 2023, health, water and local government authorities have been up and running in search of a remedy to cushion the numbers which have affected over 35 districts of Zambia. On Tuesday, 16th January 2024, government, through the Ministry of Health and cooperating partners, commenced the administration of the oral cholera vaccine in hotspots areas such as George Compound and Lusaka's Matero constituency. Zambia received 1 million doses of oral cholera vaccines which will be administered in a phased manner. But reacting to this development, some Lusaka residents have expressed mixed feelings about the cholera vaccine.
So concerning the issue of the vaccines that the government started distributing yesterday, I can only take them if I get to understand how they work, or if the government can just like help us by making us understand how the vaccines work. That's when I can accept those vaccines.
Vaccines are welcome. Ndiponso ndikulupira kuti government ikapwesa ma vaccines sangangana ma side effects. Pokuti muone matenda aya yawanda maningi. So ndiyofunikira muntu aliyense aina kutenga kumbali kumwa ma vaccines. Palibe vuto iliyo.
Boma ichabe kuno munga ya vaccine bamene kupasa because matenda yakula maningi bantu bakufa. Every time bantu bakufa. So every time bantu ni ku Korea Center, so yo ifunika triste.
Meanwhile, a medical doctor, Dr. Teddy Mulenga, explains that the cholera vaccine is safe and no one should peddle speculations.
There is no difference between a polio vaccine, a smallpox vaccine, hepatitis vaccine and the cholera vaccine. Cholera vaccine is necessary because if you are vaccinated and you get cholera, you are likely not to develop a serious condition of cholera. So your condition will be, manageable. Sometimes you may not even end up in an admission in the hospital. You can be treated at home. That is the importance of vaccination. Now, is it dangerous? No, it's just like any other vaccine. You may get a little bit of headache here and there, body pains and whatnot, but these things pass. They are temporary.
In the last 24 hours, 463 cases have been recorded, bringing the cumulative total since October 2023 to 10,413 cases. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka. That's a story where we also got some reactions from those that are expressing mixed feelings over the cholera vaccination, for we know that there's 1,000 doses so far that we do have in the country, and you're ensuring that this oral cholera vaccination that is being administered by both the Ministry of Health in partnership with local government as well as Ministry of Water and Sanitation actually speed up. But others are still skeptical about the entire situation. But yeah, luckily my colleague Marco Kwakozi is here, and to some extent it feels like calling him my colleague doesn't really, because wow, but I would say one of the members of staff of Camnet TV is here. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Marco.
Morning, thanks. I'm happy to be here. Slight glitch, but I'm here, and
we are both watching football last night.
You see, I was watching that game, and I think that anyway, we'll have time to talk about the game. I think that we were outclassed.
Outclassed?
Yes.
I think outclassed is the right term to put. Because, well, yeah. we looked more of having the entire selection of 11 players to be defenders.
Yeah, really. And we must thank the defense and I think the whole team tried their best to defend. I don't know if that was a strategy to keep the Congolese at bay, but it was very, very dangerous, because sometimes the Congolese, they had 20 shots on goal.
Yes.
So it was dangerous playing like that.
Because I was almost giving up at the time. That commentator had said it was a clear penalty for Congo Diarra, for Tandy Mwape, alleging that it was a handball.
And I think that personally, when that incident occurred, I didn't think that the referee needed VAR to make a decision on that, because it was clear.
Yeah.
If the ball had hit Tandy's hand, the excuse would have been he was falling. When a player is falling and the hand is on the ground, you don't give it as a penalty. I don't understand how he blew the whistle to give a penalty in that particular instance. But again, when you clearly look at it, the ball didn't hit his hand.
The ball hit his chest.
Yeah. So
I was almost
anyway, that's football.
I was almost telling everyone that if they give this penalty to DR, I'm going to sleep. Yeah, but that was my experience. You can also give us your experience in terms of how things were for you, as well as also the ongoing oral cholera vaccination that is being administered in some hotspots. We've seen that others are skeptical. Are you also skeptical, or what questions do you have over this vaccine? Mr. Kozi, I think we can get to look at the story that we have.
Yeah. But before we get to the next story, I want to talk about the vaccine. I don't know why people are skeptical of the vaccine, but anyway, it's normal for people to be skeptical. But I think that we must be thinking in line with how we are going to help the situation currently. So cholera is there, it's rife. We have lost a number of people. You should visit Heroes Stadium and see the situation.
Wow.
And you appreciate the fact that the efforts that are being made to try and stop this virus.
Yeah.
So much as there are a lot of myths and stories about the vaccines, they're here to help. So
yeah, and
but people have. Do you know that there are some religions that don't believe in taking medicines?
Yes.
So we have such in society. So it's normal to have people that will feel vaccine no, the COVID vaccine they will. No, you will turn into monkeys. Stories as far as that. Now, honestly, anyways, that comes with vaccines most of the time.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the next story, and this one is talking about CDF, and it says the Zambia Council for Social Development, ZCSD, is calling for extensive analysis of the 2022 CDF report. Now, Council Executive Director Lia Mitaba says the 12 issues which have been cited in the Auditor General's report on the CDF for 2022 is worrying, hence the need to take action and improve the management of the funds. Now, the findings of the 2022 CDF report include failure to spend funds, monitor implementation of empowerment grants and bursaries, among others. Let's have a look at this report.
The Constituency Development Fund, CDF, is meant to lift the standards of living for vulnerable citizens in the country, increasing from 28 million kwacha to 30.6 million kwacha in the 2024 budget, with those in the wheels of government describing it as a game changer, while the opponents argue. While many argue about the increase of CDF and the effectiveness of the program, the 2022 Constituency Development Fund report by the Auditor General's Office has raised about 12 issues from 114 audited local councils in different townships. The issues range from failure to spend funds, failure to monitor implementation and misapplication of empowerment grants and bursaries unaccounted for empowerment grant fund, disbursement of funds to unapproved beneficiaries, failure to issue soft loans, missing payment vouchers, and poor execution of project, among others. Reacting to this revelation, the Zambia Council for Social Development has expressed concern and called for critical analysis of the findings.
To be the game changer that government has meant it to be, or envisions it to be. And I think if we address these gaps, we plug the gaps that have been identified in the Auditor General's report, then I think we'll have a 2024 with a better implementation record on CDF, but then also we'll have a 2024 that will see maybe CDF grants reach more people. Because Zambia is amongst the least developed countries. We have a lot of people, a lot of our citizens that are living in poverty, that a CDF grant would actually help maybe just lift them out of poverty. And I think we can only do that if the grants are dispersed on time and if the grants are accessed without bias in terms of political affiliation.
Ms. Mitaba has also called for corrective measures to be taken, further explaining that it is unfortunate for people to be robbed of their money meant for development.
What around misapplication of empowerment grants. There's also been misappropriation of empowerment grants. There's been unaccounted for empowerment grant funds. And then also there are areas around the government failing to issue soft loans. So there are 12 issues that are listed, and I think having 12 issues that are listed in the Auditor General's report, I think this is too much. We've also seen issues around poor execution of projects. I think in certain areas we've seen shelters that have been built using CDF funds actually crumble and come down. We've also seen in the report that there's a report around untried accountable interest. So I think these areas are areas that are bringing gaps in implementation.
The organization also hopes the report on CDF for 2023 will improve because monitoring vehicles were procured in 2023 for the said purpose. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
So that is about the CDF and some of the issues, the 2022 CDF actually, and some of the issues that the Auditor General's report has raised as regards the disbursement of that particular money, some issues of loans that are not fulfilled, and also issues of the monitoring of implementation of the grants and bursaries. Those are some, but the issues that have been raised by the Auditor General's report. Now the ZC SD is worried and thinks that the country must extensively analyze the 2022 Auditor General's report so as to get to the root cause of these problems that were cited in that particular report. So what is your thought also on that particular story as you get in touch with us a little later on the program? But you can go to our Facebook page and leave your comments and contributions there. It's Camnet TV, and then you like the page if you have not yet liked it, and then you go to the comment sections of this particular program, and then you can leave your comments and contributions on that particular platform. Nelson.
Yes, indeed, just like you did mention, we can also now transition to our first interview this morning with Major Chilumba, who is an author and is yet to launch a book entitled Marriage is a Scam. So we get to also listen to the perspective and the motivation behind this title of a book, Marriage is a Scam, especially to a young person like myself who's not yet married. Yes, so good morning, Major Chilumba.
Good morning, pleasure is mine.
Happy New Year. I think this is the first time we're hosting you on Camnet TV in 2024.
Indeed, I know this is my first time, and I'm so excited to be here on my birthday. It's indeed an awesome.
Now let's talk about your yet to be launched book, where you've titled "Marriage is a Scam."
Wonderful. I have a new book coming. Entitled "Is Marriage a Scam?" It's a question. Is marriage a scam? Okay, so I wrote this book out of my personal experience and what of one or two people are passing through. Is marriage a scam? So I started, and I'm still researching and finding out more about marriage. Okay, I for one, I grew up in a situation where mom and dad divorced when I was in grade 7. From there, we suffered. Okay.
So I want to ask you the question itself. Is marriage a scam? I have a colleague yesterday. He was saying, the day before yesterday, he was saying, what is the purpose of marrying? I marry for somebody to be giving me instructions. I marry for somebody to be saying, to be taking my whole salary to her and say, yes, and then she starts to decide, okay, go and buy my shoes now. God, is it a scam?
Wonderful. Marriage is not a scam. Okay, when we go to the foundation of marriage, okay, biblically, God blessed marriage in the beginning. When you read the story of Adam and Eve and all, so marriage is not a scam, but the mindset of man has made marriage to be a scam. So nowadays, people are marrying with intentions. People are marrying basing on what they are seeing. There is that basement on whatever situation they are passing through. So you find that here is a person is marrying because at home there's no food, because they've got nowhere to go, because they have they are suffering now, they don't have a shelter, so they feel maybe marriage will be the solution. So that's where a scam comes in. For example, you marry someone who's on a zero level, then you get them, you put them on that level, then from nowhere they'll tell you to say munganipase chani mwe. Then now when you look at the actual situation and all, so to you it turns into a scam. Okay, so there in this book I enlightened about 7 contents on this book. So one of the first content that I enlightened was compartment. Okay, you need, before you venture into marriage, you need to know, am I comparting with this partner? Can we do these things with this man or this woman? When you go to Tanzania, Kariakoo, you find that the husband and wife bashoka na milis pamoja, wamuna bashoka na wakazi bashoka. Then when you come to Zambia, if a couple is owning a restaurant, wakazi barume barefubira, maybe abakashibarena, you be like abalipenzeiro aba angazipika bonyinzima na bakazi babo, such kind of a thing. So you need to ask yourself these questions. Am I comparting with this partner that I am with? So compartment will determine if you are into a scam or if you are into a real love. Glad.
Okay, so now the issue of marriage, I know you are writing from experience.
Mm-hmm.
What has your experience taught you about marriage? What is marriage? How should people regard each other in marriage?
In marriage, wonderful. The scripture says that he that findeth a wife or a partner obtains favor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so nowadays in our generation, people are not seeing that favor. They are seeing to say in pressure, in pressure, and all. So why is it like that? We are not perceiving. Okay, this generation, because we are marrying out of beauty, we are marrying because not knowing what you are venturing yourself into. So there are problems. You see the beauty inside, there are real problems. I've witnessed people to find that agona motoka, he cannot sleep in the house, kuyopa pressure. Why is it like that? Marriage is all about happiness. It's all about love. Now, if you are not experiencing these things, you need to ask yourself. I'll give an example. Just last year, okay, the nation recorded about 22,000 divorce cases, just the High Court. Now, what of makombo nyaba, whereby such kind of a thing. So you need to, before you venture into marriage, you need to ask yourself, is this the right thing I'm about to do, or I'm marrying because of I'm putting under pressure to say no, kwatira, or kwatira, and all such kind of a thing. So you don't marry because you are under pressure. Don't fall into marriage because Mr. Kozi says he will give me a bed when I marry. It will be a scam. It will turn into a scam. Why? Because they will give you a bed, but there is more to that. Okay, when you look at the statistics, why these 22,000 people were divorced last year, you'd find that one of them is commitment. Okay, men and women, they are lacking commitment. They are failing to commit themselves, because marriage is about commitment. So you need to commit yourself to your partner. Now you'd find that there's no attention, no communication, no what. How will that marriage work out? So lack of commitment will cause into divorce. We also recorded about this substance abuse. And all that again causes divorces. Then thirdly, we researched about these substance abuse, okay, or these abusive marriage. You find that they fight, they beat, and all like that. So before you venture into that, find out who is this person I'm about to say a yes. Is this helpful, or will this bring a scam to my life? So sit yourself down and do a research. Do a research on a partner you have. You need to make what we call informed decision on family, Okay, one of the second topic that I wrote on this book was about family. Understand this family that we marry from. Okay, they can intend to be angels. I've witnessed families where they'll tell someone, "Wamina indopeleka salam." They'll be like, before coming to bring salam, should come with your HIV status. No, if they take you like that, it will be a scam to you, understand? If I've witnessed where in-laws will be like, "Mwana watu kamvutisa, nzaka kumenya," and if your in-laws telling you like that, what will it mean to you? It will be, you feel you are scammed. It's a scam. You understand? So marriage is about two people and and two families marrying off you guys. But if you start receiving threats, I've witnessed where brothers of a woman rising to menya mulamu wao to say uvutisa sister saka kumenya. So before you venture into these things, study the family. What is this family of Mr. Bandam about to fall into? Because that will be forever. So is this a family that it will bring happiness, it will bring joy to my life? Or is this a family, the other families will just bring sadness? You'll be like, I regret entering into this family. Why? It turns into a scam. It's a scam.
I know that Nelson has a lot of questions. he's going through that particular process. But I just wanted to find out about tradition and the current revolution that we are going through. There is a lot of technology that has come through, and we are almost forsaking our very own traditions and teachings. How has been the influence of modern life as compared to, because in those days, I think we wouldn't record 22,000 divorces in a year. Where have we lost it?
We've lost it traditionally. People are not following tradition. You'd find that because I'm a city man, I'm with this lady, so why following that tradition? I've witnessed where you find that even housewives now wearing ichitenge, they'll put on it kumaliro and all. They just want to look modern, you understand? So we've lost our culture. We've followed what we call Western culture.
But sorry, what if Nelson is comfortable with his wife to be, or his wife dressing like that, dressing like Rihanna, and they are compatible like that? What my question comes, because sometimes they could be happy, but we feel as family, what kind of a wife is that?
Yeah.
And then we come in and begin to try and make him think that his wife is wrong when he is comfortable.
We've had people that have said cheap watch and
yes.
Okay, I explained that in chapter number 5. Okay, traditional, modern dressing and tradition. So that also has caused divorce. That has brought a lot of divorces into this generation. So one thing you need to know, you cannot throw away your culture no matter what. You can't throw your culture. So meaning a woman has his obligation, no matter how independent they can be. They need to know that they've got law to play in these marriages. So if you become too modernized, you need to know that you are losing it. Okay, because yes, marriage is about two people, but one day you'll be like, after all, it will be an added advantage. So you might think as if your man is spoiling you by dressing like that, not knowing that his dress is destroying your mind. Same as I've witnessed doing this research of this book, I've witnessed a situation where a man takes a lady to go and drink beer, where a man will take his wife to smoke shisha. You understand? So as days goes on, that will turn into a scam. You'll be like, get out, such kind of a thing. It will turn into a scam. So in this book I emphasized on these gender equalities, what yes, they are there, they are all that obligations, but you need to stick to the law. You need to stick to what is the Bible saying about marriage, or what is the Quran talks of maybe about marriage and all like that. So these are the things that we've lost it. We feel to say because I'm comparting, because she I've witnessed people will be like, no, you take your wife to go and do a tattoo. Then what if you divorce, for example? You'd be like, it's a tattoo. Why this and all? So it turns into a scam. So before in chapter number 5, I had explained about there are consequences that comes on your way. So before that, comes your way, you need to maintain your lane. You need to not to say, I'm a woman, I'm a mother of my kids, because one day you need to be an inspiration to your kids. You need to your kids, you need to say, I want to be like mommy. Now mommy every evening goes to drink and all. And all these women that falls into this, sometimes when we sit them down, we find that maybe they were disappointed, maybe they loved someone who parted from them and all. So if we counsel them, we try to bring proper counseling to them, they get back to their senses. Otherwise, these Western cultures of putting in a shabadu, to be like, I want to be attractive and all like that should be in your bedroom, okay, not publicly. Like the whole entire Lusaka is seeing my wife's thighs, is seeing my wife's breast. Those are my things that I see in the bedroom when we are the two of us, not where public Mr. Kozi is able to determine to see how matako ya pereraum, like that. So you understand? No, to be a scam to me, you understand? So I need to as a man, as you're watching me, you need to have what we call gender equalities in you. What is it that you want, and what is it that will cost you in the near future? Because as akafuna enda na bemo downtown, you be like, manje why wakazi wa Mr. Kozi is dressing that way? To you to be fine, but to others it will be a scam. So
what talking about gender equality, You did mention that in Tanzania a man would be roasting fish with the wife. In Zambia, if you do that, how far should this gender equality go in terms of a marriage in a house? How far should your wife go? And how far should what are the roles a woman go?
Great. Marriage is about happiness. You live in harmony, peace, and doing things together, working, together as a family. But you'd find that in our nation Zambia, you'd find that na payslip ya muna wa usai ziva, na kwa mina 7 za sapu ziva. You understand that they are living, that life of spending, be like, I am setting up Munzeru. You understand? The fact that where Mr. Koz works, the wife doesn't know. He doesn't know the day that Mr. Koz gets paid. You understand? So that is it's also a scam. So how are we missing it in this century, in this generation? So we miss it because we'll be like Kairazano Nelamu. You fail to work together. There are few people, like I was doing a research in a place called Garden House, where I saw a husband that Kashkanda, now Kashkanda, they are selling, and people started laughing, but it's all now in Chipuai. Industries. So it's the way they are combating. So people feel to say that when they do that and all, that man made Vanam this and oh no. Okay, well, that's where we lost it. Working together, it's not like Wanaku DS and you're working under the influence of charms. No, it's about making means of you to survive as a couple. So number 4 thing that has brought in divorces that we concluded on our research was on these things, hiding things to each other, where you discover to say, no, your husband gets this much, but I think 20,000, and the wife doesn't know and all. So that leads towards these divorces. So in this book, I explained about the openness, the importance of the openness, the way you sleep, bedroom, it's that openness. Okay, it should flow in your life. Your wife, your husband must know to say, the husband aparinacho, tizachita branch, making plans together, making resolutions together. That's the importance of these, two of the equalities that I had explained on this book. But one thing that these men, I was told when I was coming here to mix English and Nyanja, for those that would be like, why are you saying this? There are people that doesn't understand English that much. So one thing that has destroyed a lot of marriages would be like, mukazi wako ungazimupasa bwanji ndrama za so inayo sazisebenzela and all. But you need to know that that woman in your home is doing a lot, washing for you, cooking for you, taking all the obligations that your mother was doing. Then now she needs that thank you from you. She needs a relief from you. What is that relief that she needs? She needs maybe your care. Whatever you have to be, okay, honey, I have this. You feel a woman who open up and tell you to say, okay, I think I'm passing through this, I'm facing this. Now, in this generation, you find that wakaba muna na tomato babwira nayo, you understand? No, na salt babwira nayo. Do you expect peace in the house? You find that from me coming from an interview, na salad. Why not giving her money? You understand? So all that brings in Nyanja they call it chikonko inside. She becomes saddened to say, why am I passing through this? Na kusowetu enisini kuziba bamuna banga opira nabo vonse and all. So automatically, if that persists, if that continues, it will lead into a divorce. And you being a man, you'll be like, no, women are just something else. It will be like a scam to you. But not knowing what you are doing, what you are sowing in her, okay, leads into a thing called a scam.
Even as we get to wrap up with this interview with you, Mr. Chilumba, what would be your word of encouragement to a youth like me who thinks marriage is a scam and shouldn't endeavor to do so or marry?
Wonderful. One thing that I told, like today I'm having a singles conference somewhere, you need to take your time before you say I do, because marriage is your lifetime journey. So before you yourself, hang yourself into this journey called marriage, you need to take your time. Know the person you are marrying. Are you satisfied? It's all right. Before you marry, get satisfied. Are you satisfied with these things that you're about to fall into? Because it will bring distraction or it will bring a blessing. I've seen people regretting. There are people right now, like according to my research, about 76.8% of this generation of nowadays, they are now regretting to say kale za che asembe zinakwatire type sembe nakwatira ko mwana wapaja unaona mwamina maukena 05 mnaona mwamina yali, you know, such kind of a thing, eh? So it's never too late. You can still mend that problem you feel, that problem you feel, to say this is the problem that my wife is experiencing, or this is the problem that my husband is facing. It's never too late. So before those that you have a wedding, you want to get married and all, you need ask yourself these questions. Are you satisfied? Okay, are you satisfied with character, behavior, language, the respect wise, with the personal conduct, the way she conducts herself? Are you satisfied? Being you a woman, you want to don't get married because your dad died, because there's no one to pay for your fees, because there's no one to feed you, because you are the firstborn and you need to take care of this, because you failed the GC last year. So first thing, you need to get married for you to get the leave. Maybe for you to take you to school. My dear, it will turn into a scam. Get married because you are satisfied. Get married because you've loved. You love Mr. Kozi. So the way you love him, so you need to say, yes, I do. It should come deep down your heart to say, yes, I'm marrying. Not, so manjo kenzankala kot.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chilumba, for making time with us. And we right about now take a break. But before we even do that, we'll leave you with a story from the United Party for National Development in Lusaka's Shilanga constituency, who have dispelled assertions by Mount Makulu ward officials claiming President Hakainde Hichilema has neglected party structures in that area. We'll be back shortly.
The United Party for National Development UPND leadership in Lusaka Chilanga constituency has disputed allegations by Mount Makuru ward officials who accuse President Hakainde Hichilema of neglecting structures. Mount Makuru ward officials recently accused President Hichilema of neglecting them, whilst accusing local government officials of corruption in awarding empowerment programs and employment opportunities.
The party, generally, countrywide, there have been a lot of complaints which people are raising. Now it's like those complaints are not being listened.
Constituents acting chairperson Alon Indiwa, however, speaking during a meeting, says the assertions are unfounded.
Which were on the media, some of them went to the skills training. Very unfortunately, they don't want to go and acquire employment somewhere using their papers. Now, what do they want? The president introduced free education on our children. Those people which went on the media, they have children who are going to school right now without paying anything.
Flanked with other constituents officials, Mr. Ndiwa says the party will consider punitive measures against the ailing ward officials. Meanwhile, constituents coordinator Trevor Mwenga has accused the ward officials of being sponsored.
And for that alone, there's an information which that someone maybe was given money to come and destabilize the party in Chilanga, of which you won't manage. If you had any problem, you would have come in a right way to come and seek audience with the party members. Now, because he is lacking discipline, that's why he did what he did.
Other ward officials present also added their voice on the matter.
Here in Chilanga, we can tell you a story. So many people have benefited, and that is so visible. So I think Mr. Mwenga was caught on the wrong side.
Those that are saying they haven't been employed, it's either they don't qualify or they didn't even apply. Last year, 17 out of 25 applicants were given loans under CDF.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
The fight against cholera is receiving significant assistance as stakeholders from different sectors are coming forward to donate essential materials. Organizations, NGOs, and concerned individuals are pooling their resources to aid government in their efforts to curb the spread of the disease. Zambia Chinese Association has donated 1.2 million kwacha worth of materials specifically intended to combat cholera and expresses ongoing support.
Cholera is fought fiercely with all the available resources, both human and financial resources. It is for this reason that we are here to make this donation for anti-cholera materials worth 1,270,000 kwacha to assist in especially disease prevention. We remain hopeful that this donation will assist government's successful fight the disease.
Soaps, 15,000 days. Chlorine, 12,000 bags. And a water machine, 10 sets. Also, water bucket, 200 sets. Galoshes, 100 pieces, which is total 1,270,000 kwacha.
Government expresses gratitude for the overwhelming support they are receiving. It emphasizes these donations are instrumental in their fight against the disease. Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit Coordinator Dr. Gabriel Pollen, representing Vice President Mutalena Lumango, conveyed this message during a cholera donation by the Zambia Chinese Association.
Cholera requires a united front, and the support we have received today is a testament to the power of collective action. Government alone cannot fight the epidemic, but requires partners and stakeholders to extend a helping hand in the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, China has been an all-weather friend to Zambia, and the two countries share a long-standing relationship. Your contribution, therefore, will go a long way in supporting the health sector and the people of Zambia. And also just to remark to our private sector compatriots that the government stands ready to partner with the private sector as we continue to create an enabling environment for private sector participation in the economy. We are appreciative of private sector corporate social responsibility and gesture of humanitarian assistance in times of disasters such as this.
While donations play a crucial role, ongoing effort on the ground are also vital. Government has implemented comprehensive cholera mitigation strategies, including awareness campaigns, vaccination drives, and improved sanitation measures. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Those were some of the stories that we are zooming in. You can also give us a perspective. We do know for a fact that there was a story that was aired by Camnet TV on Sunday where Mount Makulu UPND ward officials lamented their failure by President Hakainde Hichilema and some government officials to empower them, including accusations of bribery for those seeking employment. But yesterday the case was different because Chilanga constituency chairman quashed all those allegations in Aaron Diwa, who says the assertions by the ward officials led by Stephenson Mwinga and founded as the president is helping structures through various means of empowerment available to all Zambians. That is a story we were looking at, Mr. Cole. And in the background, I was saying, could there be that you've got two groupings between those in Chilanga, Mount Makulu ward? Because the others at ward level are saying this, and then the others are saying no.
Yeah, there could be. No, not there could be. There is two groupings in Chilanga district. Because the ward, at ward level, they feel that they are not being empowered. They are not being empowered. But at constituency level, they feel that no, those that are complaining, according to Mr. Dio, maybe don't qualify or did not even apply.
Yeah.
So 17 out of 25 groups that are applied received. Now, if the ward is in Chilanga district and 17 out of 25 received, are you sure that that particular ward did not receive anything in terms of the grants? Are they following? Did they apply? Did they not apply? Do they have cooperatives? Do they have cooperatives? All those are issues that should be looked at. So even as they complain, they must complain after having made their their effort. They must complain after their groupings, their cooperatives made applications and their applications were not considered. None of their groups got any funding, and because this money is not meant for one ward, it's not meant for one constituency, it's not meant for one district, it's the whole country. So you have to apply. There are procedures that have been put in place, but also even as constituency, as districts are sharing this CDF, they must ensure that they touch all the constituencies, because it's for the people after all.
Yeah, I like how you've analyzed the issue, but for me also my concern would be, for some time now, I've had problem with Zambian political supporters because they feel once they belong to a political party, they're entitled to certain things for free that would come to them without making an effort. I'm glad that you did mention about making an effort. So if you haven't made an effort into forming a cooperative, why should you start claiming that you are not receiving empowerment? Because it starts from there. You can't just be seated at home and then expect things to fall from heaven, that things are going to happen for you. Sure. I think that's unfounded.
More position. Now that we are
it shouldn't work like that.
Should just be falling from wherever it should be.
It shouldn't work like
into
that.
Your house.
It shouldn't work
so,
like that.
Even people that do not have any qualifications or anything, it doesn't mean that now that the party you supported is in power, everything will head your direction. No, you have to make efforts. At least join a cooperative. Cooperatives start a business and then seek for CEEC. You can't just sit with your hands folded and begin to think somebody who President Hichilema from nowhere will just remember and say, in Chiranka ward, so there's this gentleman who used to be with us in campaigns, give him a job. What job are you going to be given if you are just seated, you don't apply, you don't do anything, you don't join cooperatives, and you want to benefit? How? So I think we are not saying that that particular ward has not made those efforts, because for them to come out and complain, they may have made efforts to try and get funding or try and get support, and nothing has come their way. So these constituency leaders and district CDF committees, I think, should share the money equally. Even as you empower these people in these wards and these communities and these businesses, look at even all the wards. In this and this ward, how many people have applied? Are these projects viable? Of course, you follow all the guidelines, even as you are funding them. Are these people capable of paying back the money? Are these people, is this cooperative fully registered? Not just getting a group of people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. You can RC 10. No, do the right thing.
Yeah, I think even if we were to play that clip for Mount Makulu that aired on Sunday, there was this lady who was saying, kulinalima recruitment but siara tukufikia kwa kulelima at CDF still on a station police, but we need to have an equal share. So I think to some extent also there's a perception that you see you need to just sit and then things need to be coming to you.
Yes, does she think CDF is money from government to a constituency and then constituency leaders begin to go house by house?
Imagine.
In fact, when they so there's a procedure on how you can benefit from CDF. You need to belong to a cooperative. You need to apply all those, and when you apply as a cooperative or anything, you still have to be scrutinized by the CDF committee. They need to look at, is this cooperative genuine? Are they fully registered? Is this cooperative even, are they even working on the projects that they are, because we don't want cooperatives that will say, no, we have poultry, and when you go and find 2 chickens and 1 duck, and then you say, this is a poultry that we need 20,000 kwacha for. I mean, let's do the right thing as we apply. But also the committees, let them consider sharing the money equally amongst all the wards in there. And some projects are community projects. Yeah? So if your ward has received a bridge, it has received a school, it has received and you also want teachers' houses, and there are other wards also, even grants. There are other wards that have people that are looking at those same grants. So do the right thing.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Yeah, and do hope for the best. Let's get to also look at some of the stories that you have there before we jump into having a sports conversation.
Yes, the other story, we did have a story of the Chinese community donating to the fight against cholera. I think that even as we sit and wait for donations, we must, even as we receive donations, we must do our part also as government, as a country. It is sad. Just the other day, there was a story, is it in Kabanana, of sewer affluent all over. And yesterday again, another story from Rwansha. Let's get to it. Residents of Lusaka's Ronby area are living in fear of contracting waterborne diseases due to a blocked sewer network. Now, the residents have lamented that they are unable to use their toilets as sewer affluent is overflowing in their yards and puts their life at risk. Now, they add that efforts to engage Kafugu Water Supply and Sanitation Company have yielded no results despite reporting the sewer blockage more than a week ago. Let's have a look at this report.
This is the state of the sewer network in Wansha's Lone B Township, on the Copper Belt. Amid the cholera outbreak, which has claimed more than 300 lives, residents have been forced to block the overflowing sewage with bare hands. With children away from school due to the postponed opening date, the residents fear for the worst.
Fanga ndapali banyina na bawishi twalaika la shani mwechalo twafweni mibombele yabakafubu yatwatya.
According to the aggrieved residents, efforts to engage Kafubo Water Supply and Sanitation Company has yielded nothing as they continue to promise to fix the problem.
Almost 1 week to sempera kofe kuya mukulembesha tabalesa mukufuasulula kwati tuishofa tulia mukuchitapa kabiye ntwalaisa ifanga nga chakwe bati tulenda bwino nga bayi tupera ko moto kanga tatukokola no kokolo kwe bati twasafika pamayanda yenu tuenda na majinga aya tulikane fi ni fya kufuasubira ko kuma jinga nishina tukwata na fota tuenda bwino tufume kuna ni tuise ku bibi nishitailepwa.
Efforts to engage the company by broadcast time could not materialize. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula.
That is one of the stories there from Luansha, and we're just talking about the sewer effluent. I think the situation is quite similar to those in Kaunda Square Stage 1. I know this area, I should say a house where this sewer network is connected just near the tap. So the moment that sewer effluent starts coming out, you can't have water from that tap.
The Kaunda Square issue has been, I don't know for how long, sewer issues with Kaunda Square has been for quite some time. And I remember way back we could report issues of sewer problems in Kaunda Square and in Matero somewhere. But Matero, I think it has been worked on. I don't know what the situation on the ground is now, but we don't have complaints in that regard. Kaunda Square, it has been since I don't know when. Issues of sewer. But this is what I'm saying, that we must do our part as well as a country. Look, government is doing their best to try and sort out this issue. I don't know if the sewer system in Kaunda Square is under Lusaka Water. So Lusaka Water should play their part also in trying to fight cholera. Kafubu Water, look, they're unblocking the sewer system with their bare hands. They don't even have, at least they could, even them, at least, plastic to try and protect yourself.
Yeah, to try and
that's sewer. And what is cholera? How do you get cholera? So you can't have such a situation in a rainy season and in a time when how have those people survived a week without recording a case of cholera?
Well,
how have they survived?
I'm quite shocked.
So Kafupu Water should take it upon themselves. This is unacceptable in this period that the country is going through, recording over 300 cholera deaths, and you allow such a situation to continue for one solid week. I think that as stakeholders, let us all put our efforts. Let's fight it's not a government fight. This, no. Everybody, starting with you and me, also, we must ensure that we follow the health guidelines. We must ensure that we boil our drinking water. We must ensure that we always wash our hands after using the toilet. We must ensure that we follow all the guidelines. It starts from there. But if you and me are doing that, and then there is sewer spillage in our communities, and we report to the relevant authorities, and it goes for a week, you've heard that woman that the children are answering the call of nature. From that statement, it means it's not far away from their homes. It is just those ifisali, in fact, are just in the yard. So that is where they're answering the call of nature from. And that is one of the most dangerous things that's a perfect recipe to spread cholera. So I think let every stakeholder do the right thing in this fight. Yesterday, I was arguing with you and the rest of the team as regards what the media should do in as much as fight against cholera is. We cannot encourage people to compromise this fight. So everybody must do the right thing, and they must do it correctly.
Yeah, and let's move on to the Africa Cup of Nations now. I think we can in the next 15 minutes that we have or so, we can still discuss and look at the performance of Zambia against the DRC, because anticipations were very high. I even had conversation with some colleagues that were saying the Africa Cup of Nations is starting today. Today, that's when it is starting.
Yes.
And then I asked what about all these other games? They said, no. The Africa Cup of Nations is starting today. The champions are playing today. Is that the
So yes, people would say that because they are Zambians, and Zambia was starting their campaign yesterday and against neighbors. So it was always going to be a tough game. Zambia and Congo has always been a tough encounter. And before we come to the Zambia and Congo game, generally, I think this has been a fantastic tournament. I say so because
there are no underdogs.
There are no underdogs. No team is there. No team looks like they are there because they are there. The only team, I'm not happy to say this, that looked not to be playing like a team that is playing in this particular edition of the AFCON is South Africa. They didn't really give it. They didn't really impress. And from the beginning of the tournament, we've seen that even those teams that Mauritania, we thought these will be the whipping boys. These are the ones that will be. They have put in great fights.
Everyone was looking at Algeria will put in a good fight.
Yes, but they have met their match at a tournament where some teams are regarded as underdogs. They've given them a tough time. So this tournament is about who wants it the most. This tournament is not about big names. I've always said the AFCON of all the tournaments, the AFCON is the only tournament where the one who wins the trophy is the one who wants it more, not the one who has the better side. No, big names in the team. No. If that was the case, I mean, the AFCON would have just been in West Africa, rotating in West Africa, because that's where mostly the big names are. But in this instance, when you go to the AFCON, it's about, look at the 2012 tournament. Who thought you could have players coming from unknown leagues to come and beat a team, a well-assembled team like Ivory Coast, a well-assembled team like Ghana. So Zambia came with players from Russia, players from Zambia, players from China, the James Chamangas of those years, players from they came and no names. Which name would you point at them in 2012?
No, there's no name to point at.
Yes,
definitely.
the Mayukas of this world, Christopher Katongo, maybe those are the players that you can talk about. Kennedy Mwene, those are the players you could talk about. But it was how much Zambia wanted it as compared to that is why I always feel that picking people from all over the world picking people from all over the world because their great grandfather comes from our country, and you go and say no, in fact he is playing for this country, but let's talk to him. You talk to him and then he says, okay, I think I can play for without you pick them, this one from there, and bring them together. That is not what will win you the World Cup. The African Cup. And how much trophies you have and how much accolades you have. Look at the Ivory Coast team that we beat in 2012. They had Yaya Toure, they had Kolo Toure, they had Didier Drogba, they had Didier Zokora, they had big names names. Gervinho, big names that have been had been performing in Europe.
Yes.
Oh, the whole world knew that these were big names. But Zambia came, and so it is about who wants it more. And
so far, according to you, who wants it more, and who's been your favorite in terms of this far, how we've played? Who has showed to you that, okay, these ones, they want it more, and which one has been your favorite game? Because for me, if you ask me that question, I'll simply say I enjoyed the Tunisia-Namibia game.
Yes, I think that has been the game of the tournament so far, because the Namibians didn't look. You see, sometime back, North African countries were so dominant.
Yes.
Egypt have the AFCON 6 times. When you meet Morocco, when you meet Egypt, when you meet Tunisia, when you meet Algeria, and you know, they had the very silly tactics, the North Africans. If they score against you, even in the first minute, for the rest of the 89 minutes, you will just be chasing, and they will be falling all over and wasting time, and they were so good at that. But Namibia showed that they want it. They are there to compete, not to participate, and they showed it. You see, who can you talk about in Namibia? Dion Hoto from Orlando Pirates, or who Shadulile from the only big name is Nyambe, Ryan Nyambe, who plays for is it Blackburn Rovers in England, Division 2, is it one side in England? That's the biggest name, I think, but also Shalolide is a big name in South Africa. Dion Hoto is a big name in South Africa, and they have performed also at the CAF level when their teams qualified at that particular in those particular tournaments. So they went there and told themselves to say, guys, this is a tournament one. Let's go and win it. Let's go and show them that we also want to win it. And they're there. They showed Tunisia that they mean business at the AFCON, and Tunisia thought, it's one of those teams who is Namibia, let's go, will simply beat them. But they showed them. So it has been a tournament of who really wants it the most. So no team should regard any team as underdogs. No, I think I was disappointed with Tanzania's performance yesterday, but Morocco is a great team.
Yes,
look at what they did at the previous World Cup. So that's a team to fear. Also.
Yeah, but I think my disappointment also with Tanzania coming in the aspect of, look, from the first half to the second half, they were showing some pros of saying, okay, we're in this and we want to do it. And then they considered goals 70 something minutes, 80 something minutes. I think that was quite disappointing, because that showed up a good fight all this while from the start. Then all of a sudden that game was something else.
Endurance, which is what most of the coaches should be talking to their teams about in this era of football. Real Madrid will hate you in the 90th minute. European teams will beat you in the last seconds of the game. So when you are playing at such a level, concentration levels must be at over 90% the whole game. You can't say, okay, no. You go up to the final, so keep fighting. Never ever drop your guard. They will hate you. This time, European in world football, this time you can't drop your guard until the last whistle.
Zambia DRC.
Zambia DRC, a lot of expectation going into that particular game. And firstly, personally, I thought that we were going to start Lamek, because Lamek has proved to be a very, very interesting prospect, especially in the Italian league. Lamek has a record of completing more dribbles.
Let's look at the shots on target. You see the team stats.
25 shots against 3, one of which went in out of the 3. I think the Congolese also, if they need to go forward, they need to utilize the chances that they have. Makambu was very, very wasteful. I think also Brentford's forward was not clinical. So Congo need to work on their front line. You can't have 25 shots on goal and only score one. I think 6 attempts and only score one, when the opponent had 1 attempt at goal and they scored it. That is why way back when we were playing football, we used to be told baller and his goal. You can have 90% of possession, but out of that 90% of possession, if you have not scored, you can never ever win. You can never ever win a game without scoring. Never. Until you go to the boardroom and then they say, no, they used an eligible player, so 3 points to these deduct points. Otherwise, you need to score. You need to make sure you make use of the opportunities that you have. We need to stop playing Rodrick Cabo in that position.
I was almost coming to that.
Rodrick is not a natural defender. I saw Rodrick when he was still a young boy coming up at Cabo Warriors. He was a fantastic player to watch on the left wing, and I think that over the years he has transitioned into playing in the midfield, on the left side of the midfield, and we saw coaches now beginning to use him
as a left back,
which I think he has tried his best, but it's not working. It's beginning to, and the Congolese noticed.
Yes.
So they brought a lot of firepower on that particular wing. Bogonda and the right back were really making use of that wing because they noticed a slight weakness there. So they wanted to capitalize on it. It started with Hevrena. Hevrena transformed Sambalungu from a midfield, and Samba was an attacking midfield, and brought him back because he wanted more of attack. A lot of people to be attacking. Chisamba accounted for himself very, very well at the AFCON. Almost the whole tournament he played in that particular position in 2012, and he accounted for himself very well. But I think with Rodrick, let's put him in his right position.
Yes, because for me, honestly, I was also impressed with the firepower that was coming through from Tandimab. I didn't expect such.
And Tandy is based in Congo.
Yes,
and plays for one of the greatest teams in Congo. And I think he knows the Congolese style of play, but he accounted for himself very, very well.
A lot of aggression,
and I think that's what you need from a defender. Let's not forget the big store. I think the landlord proved why we need experience in the team. Imagine if we had another midfielder with that kind of experience, let's say Sinkala, and also Renford Karawa with that kind of, but anyways, they're not in the team, so we can't dwell on them, but we're just saying that the experience showed, and it really, really did help us yesterday. Frankie Musonda also was fantastic.
With the landlord?
Yes, with the landlord. So we really need experience. The transitioning, you can't just drop this crop of players and say we need new blood. No, there must be a mixture. Look at how the transition at Real Madrid is being handled. We have players that have been Toni Kroos. We have Luka Modric that are guiding players into becoming a little bit more comfortable in the team. Fede Valverde now is a player that came from the youth system at Real Madrid, but he has gelled with the team because he has been consistently being used and playing together with Toni Kroos, and so he's learning quite a lot from those teams. And then now we are bringing in also other young, Vini Jr. When he came on board, he was a young star, and the team used to use him just to try, and now he's a dependable footballer, a player in the team. Valverde is a dependable player. So the transition must be slowly, and you must keep a certain number of players that are going to be grooming the young ones. There's a player called Nacho at Real Madrid. He's a veteran, he's the captain of the side. Sometimes he doesn't even play for 2-3 months.
Even at Algeria, there's Seleman.
Yes, you need experience in a team, and it showed yesterday with Topi Nsunzu. He showed that experience is required in any team.
Indeed, he showed that experience is required in a team. I liked how Kingsley Kang was playing in the first half. In the second half, I didn't really like the style of play. He was too much down, and then you find that most of the time he's given a tackle, he wants to claim for a foul. I think for me also that didn't sit well.
Our midfield three need to up their game. It's a crop of very, very good players. Emmanuel Banda is fantastic, Kapumbu is fantastic, but yesterday I think they had a lot of defending to do than showing their prowess and going forward and attacking and transitioning into attack. Patson Daka was rarely fed. I don't know how many touches of the ball he had. He had to go back to defend.
Yeah,
so
you can see that clinical.
Yes, the team must have a mentality of taking the game to the opponents, not sitting back and waiting to see what are they doing, and then we attack the way they are. We attack their formation. No, we must take our game to their opponents.
Well, this is where we'll have to call it a day on the Camnet TV Breakfast Show on a Thursday, and hopefully this conversation gets to continue on a Saturday. I know Amore is going to be in the studios and trying to build up for the next coming game, Zambia. I think he will be facing Tanzania, and then it's going to be also a great encounter because Tanzania is our neighbor. So we're just from facing another neighbor, facing another neighbor.
And I think that in the game against Tanzania, we need Kratos. Kratos knows the Tanzanian league very well, and he literally toys with the Tanzanian league, and they hugely respect him. They call him Mwambo wa Lusaka. Nobody doesn't know Kratos. They know Kratos will destroy them when they meet against Simba. So I think Kratos should play a role in the game against Tanzania. Also, Musonda should play a role in that particular game. Those are the players that are playing in that particular league, and they know that league very well. So they must be used. However, they should be used in that game.
Well, that's been Nelson Zulu and Marco Kwakozi. Thank you so much for still staying tuned to Camnet TV Breakfast Show on a Thursday. And we say thank you so much to you wherever you may be. Make sure that you prevent yourself against the outbreak of cholera. Remember, the country depends on you for it to thrive. It's been Nelson Zulu and Marco Kwakozi, and bye for now.